Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 122. It's the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting out of the YMCA. I'm going to try and move back here a little bit because I'm recording in my car. I'm in between the parts of my workout where I lift weights and where I do the elliptical. So I'm actually recording at the gym in my car. I'm excited to say I'm going to get my car cleaned on the inside for the first time, ever. They said, how dirty is it? And the description I gave was it's like a disgraced lawyer has been living out of his car for the last 3 months. That was how dirty I said it was. So that'll be exciting. But I'm not here to talk about my car. I'm not here to talk about the YMCA. I'm here to talk about Elvis Costello and his new EP, 4-song EP called Purse. Now, first of all, I am not a Elvis Costello superfan. I sort of pieced together an appreciation of some of his early work. I remember in my late 20s hearing a bunch of his music and then deciding that whatever he did in the 2000s, whenever it was that he started working with Burt Bacharach, was lame and cheesy. And whatever he was that was cool was the stuff that was all new wavy and 70s and accident would happen. And that's what I decided. That whatever that he used to be with that cool, weird, overly affected voice is now lame because his band is a lot more tight, it's a lot more loungy, it's a lot more precise. Basically, it sounds like Burt Bacharach, which at the time, in my late 20s, I thought was the devil, Why do birds suddenly appear? This is cheesy, this is lame. I hate Burt Bacharach. Well, let's talk about Burt Bacharach, because eventually I came to love Burt Bacharach. Close to You is one of my favorite songs. It's a perfectly composed song. Burt Bacharach is an amazing composer. And at the end of this video, I will tell you how I came to that realization. Whoops, I dropped my notes. These are the worst notes. This is literally pizza from a meeting yesterday. I have pizza on my notes. It's a professional show. So what is this 4-track thing? It's a weird thing, right? Because Elvis Costello took songs that either he co-wrote with very famous people or he took lyrics from very famous people that he had permission to use. So the entire album is co-written by the aforementioned Burt Bacharach, Paul McCartney, Johnny Cash, and Bob Dylan. A murderer's row of some of the best composers and lyricists of the 20th century. And here they are all on one very short album, 15 minutes long, composed by Elvis Costello. What I've realized is, I think this is all intentional. The first song, okay, is this song, Everyone's Playing House, or Everybody's Playing House, I don't know which. And it's this Burt Bacharach song. So it's got this really catchy chorus. Do, 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 do. There's even a little break so that you can get it stuck in your head. Do, 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 do. But all the lyrics are about domestic misery and about failures of marriage and suburban hell. Actually, I got engaged yesterday. Congratulations to me, to us. And it's funny because I'm ooh, this is a really anti-togetherness song. But then my official song with my fiance is actually Close to You. So it all goes together. Life is complicated. That's the cheesiest thing I've ever admitted on camera or on tape. But there you go. So it's got that kind of why do birds suddenly appear cheesiness to the melody. But then the lyrics are super dark. I'm gonna make you a mess. And so it's got this, it's great. It's a really wonderful song. That's my stamp. Listen to the song Everybody's Playing House. It uses the best of Elvis Costello's singing and this new band's smoothness while also bringing out the greatness of Burt Bacharach. And then the next song is a song he co-wrote with Paul McCartney called The Lovers That Never Were. Now this one is great. It's also great because he's taking, it's there's so much great stuff about McCartney that McCartney doesn't really appreciate and doesn't really use anymore. And this cheesiness of McCartney is basically extracted, taken away by the way that Elvis Costello does this song. And it's got the bitterness of Elvis Costello on top of the sweetness of McCartney. So these first 2 tracks are great bittersweet melange of these different feelings and emotions. And after listening to it a couple times, because it's only 15 minutes long and when I lift weights, it takes 1/2 an hour, I realized he's bringing out the fact that McCartney actually writes in a similar way to Bacharach. Or Bacharach, I don't know how you pronounce it. Bacharach. In Rochester, we call him Burt Bacharach. Like if you say the word backpack in Rochester, it's backpack. Hey, did you put your slacks in your backpack? Anyways, I think he's trying to bring out this similarity between these songwriters. And this is really evident on the last two songs. So back in '67, Dylan and Johnny Cash worked together, right, on Nashville Skyline. And this had an amazing effect on both of them. It sort of further validated Johnny Cash as the cool country musician who rock and roll fans could like. And it also made it clear that Bob Dylan is not only not going to be your folk god, he's not going to be your rock god. He's also going to be your country god. He's going to be any kind of songwriting god. And of course, in his later age, he's now become kind of like this crooner, soft rock, Burt Bacharach, jazzy style songwriter. He's made a similar transition as Elvis Costello has. And I'm now starting to forgive both of them. That you can't be pretending like it's 1967 when it's 2017. You can't pretend you're 22 when you're 72, when you're 82. So anyways, Dylan and Cash got kind of mixed together then. And I think it's easy to see their similarities. But what Elvis Costello has done is this song, If You Love Me, is a Johnny Cash song, but he sings it just like Dylan. And it's played like Dylan, and it's written like a Dylan song. Like the chord progression sounds Dylanish. There's even little, diddle-diddle-dee-doo kind of trills on it that sound like 60s era Dylan. And the lyrics sound like Dylan. I had to keep checking the credits on Tidal to be like, is this really the Johnny Cash song and not the other way around? Because then the next song is the Johnny Cash song. I mean the Dylan song, Down on the Bottom. And this one, he turns into like a gospel track. So it reminds you of the kind of gospel-y, Jesus-y Johnny Cash stuff. Of course, there's a ton of Jesus-y Bob Dylan stuff as well. And like these lyrics like down on the bottom, nowhere to go but up, you realize that, wow, Cash and Dylan write in a very similar way. It's really easy to confuse which one is which. So I think, and maybe I'm overreaching here, maybe Elvis Costello just was like, I found these cool... I don't know how Elvis Costello talks. He has a British accent. I found these cool things and I thought I'd mix them all together. Or maybe he's doing what I think, which is a carefully crafted compositional confusion, to where the lines between McCartney and Bacharach become mixed. They both validate each other. The lines between Cash and Dylan become mixed. They both validate each other. And then all of it goes to serve to validate the amazing evolution of Elvis Costello, who's not trying to watch detectives anymore. He's trying to make music. He's trying to compose in the way that Burt Bacharach did. He's through being cool. He's just trying to write good music, even if it's here collaborating with people who are either dead or, not actually on the album. So, how have I come to love Burt Bacharach since my late 30s? And the answer is actually where I think Elvis Costello, people try to, when you look at similar artists to Elvis Costello, the first one that pops up is the Smiths, or maybe the Jam, or I don't know. I think actually the best comparison for Elvis Costello is Isaac Hayes. Because Isaac Hayes, when he started, he was like Mr. Soul Guy, super cool, Memphis sound. And then as time went on, he just started doing more and more Burt Bacharach songs. And that's how I came to Burt Bacharach. It was through Isaac Hayes turning Walk On By into a soul masterpiece. It was him taking Close to Me and making it his own song. Where Isaac Hayes is a master composer. And the way that he can see what's great about Burt Bacharach and bring it out through his own lens, through his own production, reminds you of how great Isaac Hayes is while reminding you how great this composer is. It's like there's this, you can imagine like a pantheon of great music composers who have been liberated from their genres, from their fans, from the expectations, like a table. And you've got Paul McCartney and Isaac Hayes and Burt Bacharach, and they're just sitting there thinking and listening to each other's songs and appreciating their craft. That's what this 15-minute album made me do. So, I liked it. What do you think? Is it safe to call Elvis Costello the white, British Isaac Hayes? Comment and subscribe down below. Or don't. I don't care. I do this for me. I just enjoy working out and thinking about music. I'm going to go get I'm going to go in and I'm going to exercise and listen to some TED music. Get to some emo. There's the camera.